For Seema, Ms. Malhotra to join us. Now it's Mike is with you.
Great. Well, look, thank you. Thank you very much. And if I can say a big thank you to the General Secretary for that very warm welcome. Assalamu alaikum to you all. And a big thank you for the opportunity to join your very special virtual gathering get-together this evening. Many of you will know my name is Seema Malhotra. I'm the Shadow Minister for Business and Consumers in the UK Parliament as well. I am a Labour Party Member of Parliament and have as one of my areas of interest supporting business and economic growth as well. And it is a huge pleasure and honour to be here in your presence with you all, to be here with you, Mr. General Secretary. I understand, I think your president was coming on the call or contributing, Mr. Vice President as well, and our Regional General Secretary, Umair Memon as well. And I want to just share a few thoughts. And firstly, to thank you for your work, for the mission, for the goals of the International Memon Society, which I was very pleased to hear about from Regional General Secretary Mr. Umair Memon, who is in my constituency. Perhaps I can just say a few words about Mr. Umair Memon and by extension also his wonderful family. He is a leader in our community, and what's been very clear to me in the years that I have known him is his compassion, his sense of humanity, and how that has driven his beliefs in his personal political work, but also our community work. He has been steadfast in his support for me as the Member of Parliament, but our activities for the improvement of the whole community and its economic and social well-being. He was steadfast also with my predecessor, Alan Keane. And one thing I will share is that for a Member of Parliament to have the support of such individuals and families, their experience, their advice, their wisdom, what they're able to bring and share with networks like this wonderful International Memon Organization around the world, those voices that can come through to share that experience and give different perspectives. These opportunities, these voices, this input for a Member of Parliament, it gives us the chance to stand taller in Parliament and to be able to speak in a more informed way on the great affairs of state, but also the well-being of our nation and the well-being of our world. That's also why I've been very keen to learn more about your organization, the work it does, the support it provides, the way it does that in such a selfless way to improve the socioeconomic and educational and cultural and other physical well-being of all in the Memon community around the world. I know that many of you will be people of business as well. I grew up myself in my father's small business in Hounslow, where we are in the UK. And business is, I think, a real noble profession because it is also about building jobs and prosperity wherever you may live or whoever you may be trading with. And building prosperity and wealth is part of what drives the well-being of all in our communities. Now, I say as well that when we talk in Parliament and talk in our different events, for me, the Labour Party is the party of business. It's been a bit of a journey over the last few years. We've had many changes. But from so many I talk to, and I deal with business all different sectors, our manufacturing, small businesses, hospitality, technology, finance. Every day I'm talking to different businesses. But I know very much that business is very open to the Labour Party to listen to what we have to say, the need for a constructive dialogue and a renewed relationship, and to deal with the challenges that the business community faces, whether it's difficulties trading with nations, or it's finding and supporting skilled staff, or it's dealing with some of the costs of doing business that are holding back many today, not just in our nation, but across the world, also driven by international price rises in energy, oil, and other issues. But the reason why this is important is because no government, whatever its party, can achieve its goals, social goals, without working with business. And in the UK, you may be surprised to hear that 82% of our workforce across the country works in the private sector. So the well-being and support for business has got to be a priority for us and for our country. And all too often, I see the importance of the links between nations, between Britain and India, between Britain and Pakistan, between India and Pakistan, between Britain and America, between our European friends and allies. Economy and business is what often ties our nations together and builds those economic bonds around which we can also strengthen our social and cultural links. But I do want to make one mention of the times that we're in, because we do meet at a challenging time. I'm sure that for all of us, Ukraine is very close to our minds. And this week we had in the UK Parliament an address by the Ukrainian President Zelensky, a historic occasion, when he addressed members of the House of Parliament by video link into the chamber. But on that day as well, one of the most powerful moments of my week was also listening to women members of Parliament from Ukraine. They addressed a number of us as women MPs who are involved in the Interparliamentary Union. And we were able to say to them that on International Women's Day, that we stood with the women of Ukraine as they saw their brothers, fathers, sons, husbands be left behind as they traveled with their children to try and reach safety. So on these challenges of today, internationally, in our economy, in our society, look, I believe one thing very strongly, and that is that to get the very best decisions, we need our diversity and our inclusion at every level. That means all our faiths, backgrounds, our community organizations, means young and old coming together, means rich and poor being involved. It means everyone, men and women from all the parts and fabrics of our society. This is why last night I also hosted a reception for women in business as part of our International Women's Week. And it may interest you to know that only around 16% of small business employers across the UK are women-led businesses. And that's less in the UK than in many other countries, I think even in India and possibly even Pakistan. And it's one of the reasons why we believe very strongly in having a policy to support startups, 100,000 startups over 5 years, and to have ways in which we improve access to finance and skills and knowledge and level the playing field across our country for men and women in business. But I'll just close by saying that for all of you and with all of you, it's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here tonight, because what is so clear to see is the support that you bring to each other's lives, to each other's families, the love and that welfare that is a true example in a world that is often far too much encouraging us to think just of ourselves rather than our family and community. And the inspiration and the encouragement that you bring to each other, I know truly makes a difference. And inspiration is what will breed aspiration in the next generation as well. And so I'm very honored to have joined with you, to be having this conversation, to be getting to know you and your work. And I know that achieving success, which is part of your dialogue today, is what we want to see every human be able to do. And I thank you for your work in that endeavor.